Boxing is Nova Scotia. Mixed martial arts is the new kid on the block. Two conflict sports butting heads in Nova Scotia. And pro boxing is losing. Less events, less money, and more boxers becoming mixed martial artists. This story is about change. And this man's fight for his dreams.
I'm Tyson Cave. I'm the Prince of Halifax. I'm a professional boxer. My record is 7-0. The O. The O definitely keeps me motivated to keep that O. You know, I don't want to be 15-1. You know, I want to be 15-0.
Great boxers like Sam Langford, Clyde Gray, and Dave Downey built the identity of sports in this province.
I know these guys must feel really great about it. I know these guys, and you know, to see these people and it's something that's in the Sports Hall of Fame, it's a very big honor. Pretty much beats out any championship that you can ever have.
Tyson wants to follow in those footsteps. But boxing on all sides is in the middle of its own dilemma. People
nowadays, my opinion is that people don't work together like they used to back in the days of the Chris Clarks, the Ricky Andersons, you know, the Wayne Gordons, and there's so much hatred that goes on between the boxing community. Like boxing, and I'll be the first to say, boxing is a very cutthroat sport. You know what I mean? It's you know, guys are leaving managers because this manager's promising more money than, you know, guys are taking dives, and you know that put a hurting on boxing. And, you know, then boxing died in Halifax for about 4 or 5 years. And then, you know, like, you know, I'll be cocky and say it. Then, you know, Nogler came home and then I turned pro. And now we're putting some light back and some shine back in, you know, letting the sun shine back into Halifax. People still got that bad, bitter taste of bad fights in Halifax that, you know, some guys from out of town came down and put on, guys from Toronto and Montreal, put some just bad, bad fights on. And people remember that, you know what I mean? Like, people remember, you know, you're only as good as your last fight, and people always remember that. That's one thing you say about boxing. You're always as good as your last fight, and that's the same, you know, Halifax has taken that trend. So people have to just get used to now as us coming back and putting on some quality, good fights, and not have such a bitter taste for boxing people in general. And plus, you know, we got people out there, boxing's bad, boxing's this, you know, boxing's brutal, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, someone's always complaining about something, you know what I mean? But, you know, boxing's an entertainment, you know, so that's what we got to get back to the gist of, is entertainment, quality fights in this province. Knocked down once in my whole amateur and pro career. Knocked down once, got up and won the fight. Won the Gaelic Youth Championship in Ireland, Dublin. Oh, Danny. Dan. Did you tie my gloves for me, buddy?
Boxers are making the switch to mixed martial arts to make a living, but not Tyson.
My experience was one of my good buddies and training partners, Roger the Hawk Hollett. I train with Roger, you know, I train with Roger in conditioning and stuff sometimes, and I got a lot of respect for Roger. Roger's, he's a great warrior, he's a great fighter, he's a great, tremendous athlete. Boxing, MMA is like my boxing to some people. You know, I get to go out and, you know, I get to explore it and learn new things about it. But I respect them guys so much because I know what them guys go through. They go through the same thing as I go through.
But what is mixed martial arts?
MMA is the fastest growing sport in North America.
That is the voice of the authority for boxing in Nova Scotia.
I've heard people say different things about, you know, this is barbaric, these guys are killing, you're going to kill each other and stuff like this here. Well, to me, I'll be honest with you, MMA is less damaging than boxing, right? Especially on a lot of people. Because in boxing, you're using your hands and what your focus is to knock the guy out, right? You hit him in the head as many times as you can and, you know, go to the body, go to the head, but the big thing is the head, and the head takes an awful beating. With MMA, it's more about submission. Right? Yeah, I mean, there is some knockouts in there, no question, but there's less than there is submission holds. And that's what MMA is about. It's about getting an opponent into a position where he can't get out of it, right? MMA, there's more technique to it, there's more studying of the sport, there's more understanding of the different disciplines, and people are gravitating towards that.
In the mainstream for 15 years, mixed martial arts includes international forms like Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, and wrestling, and is fought in a cage. But is it just a fad? Scott McLean owns Fit Plus, which houses 10 professional mixed martial artists.
I do see, certain people involved. I even do see some people involved in the sport that are really there while it's popular. 15 years with the sport isn't enough time to tell if it's going to be here for the long haul. I personally think it will be, and then it won't be trendy, but we'll find out soon enough. I don't want to say that it's taking over boxing, but it is definitely growing at a faster rate than boxing is. And I think that right now MMA is taking that spotlight.
Boxers, they're in it for one thing. They're in it to make some money and get some gratification for all their training and hard work.
So, why doesn't Tyson want to switch?
Why do I do this? You know what I mean? Why? Because I want to be somebody. You know what I mean? And right now, if you're an MMA fighter, there's a way bigger chance with boxing than if you're with MMA. There's a better chance people will know you right now, especially in Halifax, because MMA is hot in Halifax. And everyone wants to be liked. Everyone wants to be in the paper. You know what I mean? And even if they say they don't, deep down they do. Everyone does. It's in your brain. It's in our blood. You know what I mean? Who doesn't want to be famous? Who doesn't want to be known? You know what I mean? Like, say, yeah, that guy's a great fighter. Who doesn't want that? If you tell me you don't want that, then, you know what I mean, then you're not from Earth. Because, as much as you say you don't want it, you do. You know what I mean? And people say, I just do this. I do this for the love. I don't do this for the money. It's bullshit. You do it because you got to make money. And who wants to get punched in the face or your arm broken or elbowed or kneed or anything for the love? I know I don't. You know what I mean? I don't like getting punched in the face, let alone kicked or elbowed. That's why I respect them guys so much. Keep that head movement. These people can't hit you. Try like that. Slip back when you're on the ropes, bang, slipping. Turn the guy and punch. It's the best way to do it. So we go 3 minutes, then we take 1 minute break. The reason we take 1 minute break is when the whole purpose of the 1 minute break is to get your body to restart. You gotta be in enough shape that where your heart just slows right down in 1 minute. So that's when you know you're in shape, then you can go back out and kick some ass.
The big question now is what's going to happen to boxing?
Boxing is something that been here from the beginning, as I said earlier, and it's an exercise. It's a way of conditioning. People can learn a lot of things, as I said earlier, from boxing.
Boxing will never leave. I don't know what's going to happen to me. Yeah, I mean, I could walk out here and get hit by a car, but boxing will never die. Regardless of what they try to do with it, maybe we'll be boxing just in our head and no one gets punched in the face. But regardless, it'll still be boxing. You know what I mean? Who knows what technology is going to do? 20 years from now, you know what I mean? Maybe it'll be virtual boxing or something, but boxing will always be here. In boxing, you see a lot of guys come and go. There's nothing wrong with that because boxing's not for everybody. You know what I mean? It's like driving a car is not, NASCAR is not for me, swimming's not for me. You know what I mean? Playing hockey, something I enjoy other sports. I play a lot of hockey, basketball, tennis. I'll play any sport, man, just to have fun. But to make a career out of it, this is me. This is my office, you know what I mean? This is where I come every day. This is my business suit. You know what I mean?